1. Develop self-worth from character, not achievements. Stoicism teaches judging ourselves based on virtues like courage, justice, and wisdom rather than fleeting outcomes or views of others fluctuating. Attach importance to moral excellence within our control versus fortunes provisionally bestowing repute yet leaving discontent if dependent on unstable variables. 2. Accept circumstances cannot define fulfillment. What really matters lies in how we respond to realities using free will rather than fortunes impacting lives beyond directing reactively alone igniting anxieties when unaffordable. True happiness depends on internal resources cultivated judiciously versus situations dictating well-being avoidantly or resentfully. 3. Practice gratitude daily for life's blessings. Dwelling in lack breeds envy, but appreciating gifts large and small shifts mindset to abundance and perspective regaining equanimity during hardships. Gratitude also motivates giving back through helpfulness and rekenning community where reputation grows assuredly through character rather precariously dependent on merits alone. 4. Develop realistic expectations of ourselves and others. Stoics advocated negative visualization reminding us to appreciate what we do have rather than unachievable fantasies breeding resentments when denied. Accept growth occurs imperfectly yet cooperatively through shared humanity acknowledged rather than perfection assumed comparison reactions exacerbating unrest insidiously if self-worth depends on judgments fluctuating. 5. Exercise frugality and modesty judiciously. Simplicity shields from cravings and dependency distorting priorities according to circumstances fluctuations anxiety provokingly. Reasonable self-care provides without excess burdening relationships, conscience, or the environment for luxuries inflating attachments hold vulnerabilities. Moderation nourishes balance freeing fulfillment internal rediscoveries through duties and connections rather than possessions alone gratification provisionally bestowing yet ultimately unpredictably. 6. Focus more on contributing than competing. Stoics advocated virtuous participation through prudent yet active cooperation resolving issues resourcefully according to conscience versus contests inflaming ego through others diminishment reactionarily alone fueling status anxieties insatiably if self-worth depends on outcomes or plaudits precariously attained. Justice, empathy and service enrich character intrinsically versus rankings fluctuating beyond governance leaving vulnerabilities when intangible. 7. Cultivate close relationships built on trust. Interdependence provides security safely navigating hard times through communal care rather than prestige dependent on reputation fluctuating precariously if tied to tangible fortunes alone provisionally gratifying yet still leaving wanting within whenever unattainable or unpredictable according to chance beyond directing. Bonds of empathy. Honesty and loyalty nourish reciprocal support steadying participation during difficulties encountered. 8. Develop patience through challenges meaningfully addressed. Difficulties arise yet inner strength awakens through resilience navigating reality's changes and uncertainties resourcefully versus assumed as afflictions restricting flourishing reactively. Perspective maintains positivity through setbacks encountered judiciously rather than resentment or fear alone fueling discontent when outcomes meet fluctuations unavoidably. 9. Meet both praise and criticism with equanimity. Outcomes depend on various factors beyond directing, so remain detached from results provisionally gratifying according to chance versus duties performed diligently yet discreetly determining fulfillment. Find peace within through virtues enacted judiciously versus externally fixating on intangible outputs or judgments alone provisionally impacting yet leaving vulnerabilities exposed whenever unpredictable. 10. Exercise non-attachment from outcomes and processes out of control. While participating judiciously and vigilantly, realize fulfillment arises from conscience upheld and contributions made rationally versus worldly variables like consequences reactively seen through comparisons alone igniting status anxieties avoided through disassociation from outcomes beyond directing prudently yet discreetly. 11. Express emotions judiciously yet maintain presence through difficulties. Feelings contain insights into shared humanity worth contemplating versus distancing from or fixating upon intensities alone distressingly. Equanimity means navigating experiences vibrantly yet circumspectly without resistance exacerbating affliction through identifications tightening attachments hold on provisions predictably yet still leaving wanting intrinsically. 12. Develop understanding and forgive imperfections seen in self and others. Growth occurs gradually yet cooperatively through acknowledgement of fallibilities rather than condemnation alone feeding insecurities if self-worth relies on reputation provisionally attained through unstable comparisons fueling anxieties avoided. Wisdom acknowledges none comprehend perfectly, yet compassion recognizes shared potential for atonement productively addressed judiciously versus resentment reactionarily alienating. 13. Prioritize inner growth confidently through philosophizing daily. Insights cultivate steadiness from within, a pace of any status instability occurring without, through diligent spiritual exercises, strengthening character, resiliently navigating life's complexities resourcefully versus externally looking to rank or favor for worth alone, validated precariously if reliant on changeable views beyond directing, yet participated in resourcefully judiciously. 14. Pursue integrity over image management. Stoicism teaches aligning actions with conscience and reason's light rather than opinions, precariously validable yet still stoking insecurities through unhealthy fixations if worth relies more on popularity fluctuations than character, upheld virtuously through difficulties encountered judiciously. Let ethics dictate behaviors discreetly yet diligently, improving communities cooperatively. 15. Accept life's inherent difficulties with poised participation. Stoics saw change, sickness, aging and impermanence generally as natural yet navigable, given attentiveness cultivated through presence amid experiences, nuances however fleeting rather than detached reactions alone, fueling anxieties through clinging or hostility if worth tied to outcomes provisionally gratifying yet still unpredictable according to reality's flux. Fulfillment emerges through duties and relationships prioritized judiciously. 16. Develop humility through reflection on life's lessons. Progress proliferates equably through acknowledgement of shared fallibilities rather than pride assuming certainties, breeding insecurities if self-worth relies more on reputation attained through comparisons, reactionarily fueling status competitions avoided. Daily contemplation cultivates awareness of knowledge yet undiscovered and potential for growth cooperatively addressed meaningfully. 17. Combat social comparisons by focusing on virtues expressed. Stoicism teaches intrinsic reward comes from duties performed with courage, justice and wisdom rather than intangible merits like recognition provisionally validated yet precariously leaving wanting whenever denied. Meaningful living improves worlds through principled participation guided discreetly according to conscience versus popularity dependent on changeable views beyond direction. 18. Value present usefulness over future plans or past flaws. Dwelling in regrets or unrealistic expectations breeds anxiety through worrying about goods delayed, leaving longing, yet peace emerges through contributory actualization, utilizing present abilities purposefully versus comparisons, reactionarily fueling unease through fixating on rankings, precariously reliant on variables unpredictably yet judiciously impacting lives participated in purposefully. 19. See problems as shared yet overcomable through cooperation. Community strengths uplift versus isolation, aggravating vulnerabilities through assuming faults as personal deficiencies alone, diminishing worth if status depends on performance ratings fluctuating according to factors ungovernable beyond discretion, yet duties performed judiciously through difficulties encountered resourcefully cooperatively. 20. Cultivate contentment from life's inherent gifts. Stoicism locates true happiness through appreciation of nature's provisions and virtues expressed judiciously rather than seeking status unattainably or leaving wanting intrinsically according to achievements provisionally gratifying yet still precariously leaving vulnerabilities if worth relies on favor fluctuations out of control yet within equanimity navigated judiciously characterized purposeful yet moderated participation embracing life's mixings vibrantly through change addressed.